Well, hello model car fans. Welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Ral, and this week I'm just going to give you a few updates here on my 65 Ford GT Roadster project from DDP Models. This is a full resin kit. If you've been following along, I've been slowly messing with this one and doing a few things and starting over. And last video I showed you I had fixed the photo etch and got some of those things fitted. And the last part of that page I had repainted the whole thing white again. And I had finished all of that. Now, since then, I did manage to put the decals on the body, and this half, I sprayed another coat of this, the white from Scale Finishes, because I had painted the whole body, but I didn't strip this one. I had to strip the body. So I made sure I used the same paint and did a coat on the bottom half and on that, so that it would match, just in case there was a shade difference. And then since then, I'd laid the decals on. Now this half, I got the decals on, got them where I wanted, and it's kind of a pain in the butt because you got to cut this decal right at the line there and get it laid down where you want. Now this has been clear coated and sealed in clear. I have not clear coated the body, but I laid all the decals down. So this one has the decals, the latch decals, the photo etch latches here, the light, and the latch up here, the door button is what that is. And then put all the decals down the nose, the 15, and then of course up here, and then all the photo etch pieces, the 15 back here, all of them on this side, which is quite a bit. And then I got the light up here for the number 15, and the stripes across the back. Now I still have to clear coat this, so this needs to be clear coated. So I'll pause on this and I'll get this clear coated, and we'll keep this video going. And then I'll also, since this is cleared, I'll be able to mask this and start shooting the interior blue and get all the interior parts painted blue, so I can get the interior mocked up, because some things I have to have glued in place to help fit the glass and some of that stuff. So I really need to get this built and assembled, so I'll be doing that next. So just stick around and then it'll flash to my next update on this, because there'll be a collection of updates on this one. Well, we're getting moving on this one. I did get the body clear coated, as you can see here, so now it's sealed and clear, and I've got some painting I've been doing to it and working on. I did paint the blue on this black shelf right here, and I started painting the underside. You can see it's all pretty much blacked out. And there's some blue right here, because I'm not sure if that's visible or not, but it's got some door panels and stuff, and then I just blacked out a bunch of this stuff, so it wasn't quite as visible instead of leaving the overspray. Because a lot of this, you flip this over and it'll be exposed, and I'll black out the bottom side of the chassis. But just to, give it somewhat of a nice presentation, even though there's really no engine. I've got some photo etch pieces. I still got to fit those, paint the taillights, and put them all in. So I'll start fitting some of the photo etch and the glass, and get all of this detailed, and then paint the silver on the lights here, as you can see there, which there's one in the back, but they're all over it. But the body's cleared and getting there. Just some more parts to add to it, but really happy with the way that came out. And I briefly showed you the chassis here, which I've been doing some of the blackout around here, around the radiator, around this, and I shot the interior. Now this car, it's a really dark blue interior, so that's what I'm shooting here. And this needs to fit the chassis a little bit better. So when you put this in here, it fits up against this. But I got to line all that up, get the decals to line up, and it'll get glued in place. But there's a small gap there, so I need to warm this up, lean it back so that it matches up with that a little bit better. So I got this glued in place. I also got the shifter in there and painted the knob wood. Put the photo etch gas tank, the sending units is what those are, because these are the actual gas tanks on the car. They're on both sides. Got the pedals glued in place, and those are white metal, but they're glued in there, and blacked out all of the things. But the pedals themselves are metal, and then I'll need to paint the radiator aluminum. And this is visible, so when the body's on, you can see it in there. But there is a piece that goes under it, which I need to paint also. But I'm just getting this detailed and getting it going. Now there's a couple of things that I noticed that kind of made me laugh, and I'm also working on, here's the engine piece that glues into the body. It glues in right here, and then the carburetors go on it, and then this piece goes on it, which this kind of fills in the gap and you really can't see anything. Just kind of covers the whole thing. But on the real car it's spaced up a little bit, so I think I'm going to space the carburetors up a little bit so that you can kind of see the carburetors, and this comes up a little bit. But I'm going to see how I get that to work, and hopefully it looks pretty good. But so those, I'm kind of working on that too. And I got the brake rotors here, and here's the aluminum piece, the ductwork that goes under here. I need to paint that aluminum or silver. That goes here, so I'm going to paint that and the gas caps. Both of those are aluminum. And I may paint, paint the brake rotors at the same time, and then the mirrors in there. I got to paint that, but that's in there. And got the seats painted. I got to do all of the rings because the rings are visible. Here's the door panels. Really not much to these, but they kind of glue in place. So I'm not really sure if I'm going to glue them right here in place on here, or if I'm actually going to glue them to the inside of the body. Not really sure yet. I still got to glue the glass in. But these are all painted. I'm just detailing some of this stuff. Got the steering wheel painted. Now in my reference material, the real car, the spokes, the whole steering wheel is painted blue. And I find that kind of boring. So I think I'm going to paint the black sections, the open windows. And then I think I'm going to paint the spokes silver and detail it up a little bit more than the actual car. Because it seems like the entire interior, they just covered it in blue. And it looks like blue paint. As far as the car goes, but I mean, it was a race car. They really didn't care about cosmetics. This is the steering column, then the fire bottle, which I painted. I got to paint the cap on that silver. But here's the dash. Dash is looking pretty good. I started to put some detail on there as far as the knobs and stuff go. On the photo etch sheet, it has all the little toggle switches, so I can add them to it. But here's something that cracked me up. Look how many gauges there are. There are 2 large ones, which that one's like the speedo and that one's the tack. And then there's 5 small gauges, so a total of 7 gauges. But yet on the decal sheet, there's only 5. So I'm like, okay, I'll probably raid my parts box and look for more gauges that I can drop in there. We'll see what I come up with there. But I didn't quite notice that at first, but knowing my GT40s, is like, wait a minute, yeah, that's the tack and the speedo's way over here. And then it's got a total of 7 round gauges in there. But just detailing it up. Well, this is pretty much a copy right from Fujimi, other than being reshaped here to fit the Roadster. But I'm liking the way it's painted. Oh, and for those that are wondering, I just tested as paint here. Now, I used this flat sea blue, which it's what I had. And I used the last of it, so I had to go down and buy a whole nother bottle. So this is a fresh bottle with all the new warnings all over it. And you can barely read the actual paint because it's got all the warnings all over it. But that kind of cracks me up. But we'll keep working on this, and I'll pause here and I'll get another update going, and you'll see some more of this one. Alright, got a few more things done here. Just painted the transmission and exhaust pipe and the shocks there. This one's mismolded. But just kind of working on a little bit here and there. Fitting it, painted the radiator aluminum, and then getting a few things done to the body here. Got the windows in, and then I got the engine plate and the carburetors in, and some of the photo etch in place. So some of the photo etch in the back, and then got this piece glued in also. So there's the aluminum piece in there, and then both gas caps. So it's coming along. Blacked out the headlights, and then got the driving lights in. They're glued in place. So really happy with the way those are. And she's coming along. And just getting a few things fitted. One thing that kind of cracked me up, I mentioned that it only had 5 gauges of the 7. But I got decals in there for all 7. I still got some detail painting to do here and a little bit to clean up. But I dug out some of my other GT40 decals. I'm not sure where these came from at this point, but it has a set of 7 gauges. It also had a set up here, and I took the second set and used them, so that helped me right there. So got them on the dash there, and looking pretty good. I got some detail cleaning to do, but I do have a small fitting issue. This is why you just keep mocking everything up. See, when I put the door panels in here real quick and then put the dash in, here we go, I get the body in place and it pushes the front end up. So I need to move the dash down or clearance it for the windows a little bit, because didn't do that when the windows weren't in, but when the windows are in it doesn't line up. But a clear indication, as soon as I take the dash off and I put it back, now it fits. See, it goes down and lines up. So it's the dash. I think the first thing I'm going to do is start sanding the bottom here. So I'll sand the bottoms, just move it down just a little bit, and that should do it. And I also started painting the wheels, so the wheels got painted gold here. But she's coming along. I got some more things to do, but I figured that dash out and a few more parts and start fitting. But she should be getting real close to being done here real soon. So with that said, thank you for tuning in and subscribing and watching and following along. I really appreciate it, and all of your comments. And you guys, you have a wonderful Saturday, and I'll see you next Saturday.